What is the best wiki on the internet is a really bad title for a video. I mean, what's the point of on the internet here? It's completely superfluous. I mean, are we meant to believe there are supposedly real life Wikipedias? Come on. But seriously folks, what is the best wiki? Well, technically I feel like the correct answer would be actual Wikipedia, but that's too boring. I mean, Wikipedia is great. I think people do kind of take it for granted, having access to this free, massive encyclopedia for everything in the world. At least I think it's underappreciated, considering how they're constantly begging users for money. But obviously the smaller, specialized wikis are inherently going to be more interesting and more rough around the edges. I don't think I need to explain the concept of fan wikis. Surely at some point you've consulted the wiki for a game or something, right? Should I do the whole routine about how sometimes there's multiple competing wikis? Isn't that always fun? And usually one is obviously way better, but sometimes there's information that's only found on the other one. You know how it is. And if you didn't, well, that's how it is sometimes. Often they're hosted on Wikia, which now goes by the fandom branding, and my god, these sites have gotten so shitty over the years. I mean, sometimes I try to open one of these sites on mobile and half the screen is some auto-playing video element. Just absolute garbage. Fandom is a terrible company, but that's a whole separate can of worms I don't really feel like getting into. I'm here to talk about good wikis, well, one good wiki in particular. And everyone knows the best, most dedicated fan wikis are hosted on their own site anyways. So let's not beat around the bush here. There are a bunch of great wikis out there. Most are fairly sterile and attempt to present information in an objective manner. However, some are known for having a bit more flavor. I believe the Transformers fan wiki is a somewhat well-known example of a fairly funny wiki. I'm personally not a big Transformers guy, but from what I've seen it seems pretty good. There's definitely some funny stuff on there. And we can't forget about Wikipedia. That's another pretty famous fan wiki, and there's definitely a ton of wacky stuff you can find on there too. There are also plenty of hilarious examples of just insanely bizarre micro-wikias about niche subject matters, some of which are approaching outsider art status. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the Wikipedia, which catalogs the extensive lore of the Ouija wars. There are over 1,000 pages here, and I like to press random to roll for rare Ouijas. But sorry to say, my choice for the best wiki is not one of these so-called funny sites. I'm afraid this is a serious matter. Now, a lot of games out there have incredibly helpful wikis, some of which are so useful it's hard to even imagine playing without them. For example, recently I've been playing Dwarf Fortress's Steam release, and let's just say the Dwarf Fortress wiki has been an invaluable tool. And it's certainly got some amusing flavor as well. There are countless games out there which have incredible wiki companions, but I'm not going to be talking about any of those today either. No, my personal choice for the greatest wiki on the internet would be hrwiki.org, the Homestar Runner wiki. Now, this is a good-ass wiki. Obviously, your overall appreciation of it is going to be somewhat diminished if you haven't seen any of Homestar Runner, but hear me out for a minute. It's really got everything you could want from a fan wiki. For starters, it's got extremely thorough pages for every single cartoon ever made for the site, no matter how obscure. How thorough? Well, let me break it down. Each page has a cast list, location list, runtime and air date, list of Easter eggs, goofs, and references, both inside references and real-world references, a complete transcript of the DVD commentary, fun facts about the DVD commentary, a link to watch the episode on homestarrunner.com using the Flash emulator Ruffle, a YouTube link to the episode, a link to the depreciated original Flash site, a link to the original SWF file directly, and of course a link to a contemporaneous forum thread discussing the episode when it was new. When I say the wiki is thorough, I mean it, as in it's approaching a level where you actually can't get any more thorough than this. We've got entire pages for insanely specific minutia like Strong Sad's tape player, check. Pages for random made-up words used a total of 2 times, check. Character design evolutions, check. Transcripts for interviews and public appearances the brothers Chaps made, check. Transcripts for live They Might Be Giants concert appearances, check. References to the wiki cataloged on the wiki, check. It also has some nice character relationship pages. These aren't too rare to find on fan wikis, but I still appreciate having a dedicated page for almost every single combination of main cast members, detailing their interactions and a list of episodes featuring them together. You've got so many pages to choose from. Homestar's relationship with Strongbad, Strongmad's relationship with the Cheat, King of Town's relationship with the Poopsmith, Homestar's relationship with Homestar. Like, if you really need to see an episode where Bubs and the Cheat interact, they've got you covered. Even their disambiguation pages crack me up. Lady can refer to multiple concepts. Shut Up Lady, which is an unseen voiceover character. Strong Bad's Ladies, which is a page which details every time Strong Bad claims to be popular with the ladies. The Strong Bad email Lady Fan, the Strong Bad email Lady Ing, and Marzipan, the only female character, which has its own page, by the way. Not Marzipan, I mean the specific joke that Marzipan is the only girl, and every time it's been mentioned. Anyways, I was feeling nostalgic for the site, so I was browsing the wiki, and I found this page which has every tune listed in chronological order. So I watched a few of the early tunes, just on a whim, and then I decided to watch a few more, and before I knew it I ended up doing a complete rewatch of the entire site, which was a lot of fun actually. It might seem daunting with a list this long, but most episodes are only a few minutes each, so it didn't actually take that long, all things considered. In case you didn't know, for a very long time the site was updated weekly, but at a certain point it went on an extended hiatus, so after a while, rather than checking in on the site constantly, I would just check the wiki every couple months to keep up to date with the news. So eventually I became quite fond of the wiki. It's a useful way to keep up to date with the site in the modern era, although nowadays you can usually stay caught up just by following the official YouTube and Twitter accounts. I still like to check in on it from time to time. To me, the most useful aspect of the wiki was how it would catalog the Easter eggs. If you weren't aware, Homestar Runner really took full advantage of their medium as a flash cartoon, and almost every episode featured interactive Easter eggs. Usually something small, like clicking a word in a Strong Bad email would bring up an extra graphic, or clicking something at the end to get an additional little scene. Sometimes there's only a very brief window to click on something before it goes away. Usually it's just a little gag, but sometimes there are entire hidden tunes, or actual websites you can read, or games you can play. Something I'll never forget is back when Strong Bad Email 100 was about to come out, if you were really impatient and wanted to try and watch it early, you could manually enter the URL for spmail100.html. You were greeted with a special hidden tune of Strong Bad berating the viewer for thinking they're so clever. The actual 100th email would later go up at the URL spmail100.html. I always thought this was such a cute little meta joke, an entire animation on their site that wasn't linked to anywhere. Once again, it was something where they were taking full advantage of their status as a web cartoon. You just really couldn't do a joke like that in any other medium. Even to this day, they're still at it with their elaborate Easter eggs. In 2020, Fangamer released their Strong Bad Talkin' Plush, which as you might imagine was a little doll of Strong Bad with a bunch of funny little voice recordings, and one of the lines he can say is, "Hey kids, I'm Strong Bad from StrongBadAllTheTimeSoGreat.com," which of course is an actual website that they made. It asks for a password which can be found on the doll's tag, and if you enter it you get to watch a cute little in-character outtakes video. Although the site's pretty lenient, it gives you 100 password attempts, and if you guess wrong 100 times it eventually just relents and lets you in anyways. Sorry to spoil this ARG for you. Well, I guess it's not really an ARG, it's more of an RG. It's not even really much of a game, he just says the name of the site and you go enter the password, so I guess sorry to spoil reality for you. But the point is, all this information and more is obsessively chronicled on the wiki. That's how I found out there's even special messages on the site if you try to enter certain incorrect passwords like Homestar or Trogdor and stuff. Think about the level of Easter these eggs are. Secret messages on a secret site known only to people who bought a specific plush doll, or read the wiki, or watched this video. In fact, the main reason I ended up buying the plush was so I didn't have to feel bad about pirating this knowledge from the wiki. Now, I did say the wiki links to every episode, and that is mostly true. However, there were some which were DVD exclusive, so you can only see these ones if you buy the show on DVD. Except you can't buy it on DVD anymore, they just recently sold out. Forever! Well, probably not forever, but based on this tweet, it doesn't seem like they're going to be reprinting them anytime soon. So what does that mean for you, the viewer? Does that mean you're never going to be able to see these episodes? That's right, you can't. You will never get to see these episodes. Ever. Just kidding, you can find re-uploads of most of them on YouTube. Your punishment is that they're mostly in terrible quality from being uploaded over a decade ago. Now you might say I shouldn't draw attention to these illegal bootleg videos, but I'm pretty sure the Brothers chaps wouldn't mind people watching them this way if there's no other legal way to do it. And if the DVDs have been reprinted when you're watching this, then pretend I never said any of that. If you want to watch them, you're just gonna have to go buy it. So I'm glad I own the DVDs, even though I feel like objectively the best way to watch it is just to watch the Flash version. The DVDs attempt to integrate the Easter egg content into the viewing experience as seamlessly as possible, and for the most part it does a pretty good job, but by the very nature of things it doesn't include every Easter egg, and they really do feel less special when they just autoplay rather than you having to find them and click them, for reasons I can't fully articulate. The versions uploaded to YouTube are mostly similar or identical to the DVD versions, although sometimes there are some differences in which Easter eggs get included. Yes, I know you clicked this video to hear me talk about funny wikis, and now I'm explaining the differences between the DVD and YouTube versions of a 2-decade-old Flash cartoon. If you have a problem with that, too bad. You can't leave now, the video's almost over. Sunk cost fallacy. And again, for the record, it's not like watching on DVD ruins the experience or anything like that. But I mean, first of all, you're just not getting 100% of the content that way. And secondly, it just feels better to watch the original Flash versions because being a Flash cartoon is just such a core part of the show's identity. Like I keep saying, it just really took full advantage of that medium's interactivity. Even though I've been a fan of the series since back in the day, for whatever reason I never got around to playing Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People, the 5-part Telltale adventure game series they did. Which is weird because I played plenty of other Telltale games. I really enjoyed Strong Bad's appearance in Poker Night at the Inventory. You can even see a poster for that game in some of my videos. Look, there it is. Look, there it is! So during this rewatch, I finally got around to playing through them, and yeah, they were really good. If you're in that very specific niche where you're a fan of the series but never played them for whatever reason like me, then definitely check them out sometime. Just getting to spend some more time with these characters again in a new setting was really enjoyable. Each episode is much longer than your typical toon, so it was kind of neat seeing what long-form Homestar content is like, since we never got a Homestar movie or anything wacky like that. In a way, the games kind of feel like the last hurrah of the original era of Homestar, like the last game came out less than a year before the big hiatus and eventual transition from weekly Homestar content to occasional episodes a few times a year, usually for holidays. However, this is a video about the Homestar Runner Wiki, not Homestar Runner, because I don't want to make the definitive 2-hour-long Homestar Runner video essay analysis. That sounds hard. I want somebody else to make that video so I can watch it. I just felt inspired to make a little video showing my appreciation for a particularly good wiki. But of course the main reason I like the wiki is because I like the show, so I had to talk about it some. Not only does the wiki thoroughly document the references in Homestar Runner, they also document references to Homestar Runner extensively. Like, what medium do you want? Some of these individual pages have over 100 entries, and as usual, they are obsessively thorough. Did you need to know that back in 2005 on the Podtacular Halo 2 podcast, the co-host Spellcheck does Homestar and Strong Bad impressions on episode 11? Well, now you do. How about the fact that in the Brady Games strategy guide for the game Kingdom Hearts 2 on page 28, there's a small blurb describing limits entitled, "Everybody to the Limit." It even catalogs Twitter mentions from big accounts, like who could forget that time Arby's tweeted a little Strong Bad, or that time Lin-Manuel Miranda made a Strong Bad reference. Look, there's even one for the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter. On November 14th, 2022, for the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter takeover, Knuckles answered a user who asked, "How do you type with boxing gloves on?"
Let's see here. This question is from Cybershell. Dear Knuckles, how do you type with boxing gloves on? Oh, quite the question for you here, Knuckles.
After all these years of knowing one another, I actually never thought about this. Is typing on a keyboard difficult?
No, I'm skilled in everything I set my mind to.
Yeah, so what do you have to do then? Angle your mitts or something?
Well, maybe he uses speech to text. It's gotten more reliable over the years.
I type with my spikes. I've gotten very good at it.
Oh, yeah? What's your words per minute?
33.
Oh, that is
Wow.
All right, I see you, Knuckles. I'm impressed.
Wait, how many keyboards have you destroyed typing with those spikes of yours?
Who cares?
That makes sense. Okay.
Thanks for the question. What was his name? Lore Master?
Cybershell.
Cybershell.
Yes, that's right, it was me. I was the a user all along. I can definitely say that getting the Sonic Twitter to make a Homestar reference with the official voice actors is going to be the absolute peak of my career. So I hope you understand why the Homestar Runner Wiki is my favorite wiki, although I'm sure you have your own favorite. Feel free to let me know in the comments about the actual good wikis still left remaining on the internet. You better appreciate them because they're a dying breed. I know a lot of YouTubers ask for comments for algorithmic engagement or whatever, but I genuinely do want to know what good wikis are left out there. You can tell I'm serious because I think the last time I actually asked you freaks to leave me comments was back in 2017. Also, originally this was just going to be a 5-minute video to upload to the second channel, but I accidentally made it too long, and the last second I decided I'm going to upload it to the main channel instead. And if you have a problem with that, then well,